AValive with another product video. Today we're looking at the Blackmagic ATEM TV Studio. This revolutionary new product retails under $1,000, and there's been quite a few questions of how it does and does not work and the workflow surrounding this product. AValive both rents and sells this revolutionary product, with rentals starting at $199 per week. One of the things to be aware of is how the ATEM TV Studio handles audio, and we're going to deal with that in just one second. This product came out of Blackmagic here in 2012 and borrows some technology from their acquisition of Ross Switchers. You're going to find that this product includes both HDMI and SDI inputs, as well as full HD capabilities. It requires a host processing computer, either Mac or PC, and today's product demo will focus around using the Mac and USB in order to control the product. What we have here is 3 configurations of the product, and AValive, of course, can customize this to your exact needs. Let's take a look at each one for a brief moment. Here is a sample of a best configuration. We have a beautiful SKB 8-space rack case with a Furman power supply controlling the power on and off for a whole unit with pull-out lights. We have a both preview and an output monitor. We have the TV studio. We have the Behringer SRC 2496 converter. We have a Behringer line mixer, and then we have 2 wireless units. Of course, this unit can be configured in any configuration, expanding the rack, or of course we'll look at some other solutions not as wide or big. Some of the things to remember when configuring your ATEM TV Studio is how it handles audio. Audio is only handled through AES EBU connection and is not passed through the camera. So it is very important for us to handle audio in a professional manner, and that's why we're using the Behringer SRC 2496. This will take XLR inputs or 1/4 inch and convert them to AES EBU, which easily talk to the ATEM TV Studio. We also have included a line mixer to mix various line sources, including our 2 wireless units, as well as any hardwired mics or additional wireless mics you may have. And then, of course, we have the wireless units plugged into the unit. Now, the purpose of a unit like this is perfect for out in the field because it gives you your preview monitor as well as your output monitor, and allow you to easily record to disk, your program output, or as well as use your queuing for your multi-view. It's very important to note that the ATEM TV Studio, while it records the disc in H.264 format, it cannot do H.264 and live web encoding on the same unit. You will need to break that out as a separate entity, and we'll take a look at that a little later. So this is an example of a field unit, complete, ready to go, able to do webcasting or recording anywhere you want to go. Retail on this unit is less than $5,000 and can be built again exactly to your custom config using a variety of mics, Shure, Sennheiser, Audio-Technica, etc., as well as maybe changing up the monitors to a Marshall, but for this purpose we have the Blackmagic complete kit working together with the Behringer. So here's an example of our good and better configurations, 2, again, unique rack sizes. We're going to start with the good first. Basically, a lot of folks already have monitors and have audio needs. This is a very typical rental. This is our $199 rental here. It basically just includes the ATEM TV Studio as well as the Behringer audio converter with all the appropriate cables ready to go. Perfect, ready to set up for people who already have monitoring and already have audio. This configuration is what we call the better configuration. This is for someone who may have audio already but wants to have a portability of a field unit as well. It includes the Furman, it includes the Blackmagic preview and output monitor, includes the ATEM TV Studio, and of course the Behringer. Again, on these can be configured exactly to your needs. We recommend using a high quality case like a Gator or a SKB rack mount, roto mount type product, and easy to travel with and lightweight, can be easily checked in if it was TSA rated on the airports. So basically, these are three examples of the good, better, best configuration related to the ATEM TV Studio. Let's talk about the inputs and outputs of the ATEM TV Studio. Included are 4 HDMI inputs, 4 SDI HD inputs, and a clock reference in, USB 2.0 to connect to your Mac or PC, your program SDI out, 2 of those, as well as your multi-view SDI out, and then of course a multi-view HDMI and a program HDMI. All are hot. All your outputs are hot, so you're able to utilize those in a variety of fashions and have multi-monitoring going, or queue monitoring, or set monitoring. You have your switcher control, which by the way is controlled by Ethernet, and that's something we'll talk about in a second, as well as your AES EBU audio connection, which is standard BNC, and will require a BNC to RCA adapter. Of course, we have our wall wart power supply, and in the front panel there's actually nothing. Warning though, the unit does get a little warm, and in our 2 sample configurations in the larger rack we actually put a fan in the back to keep the fan flowing. So let's talk about HDMI and SDI for a second. HDMI, of course, can be utilized in the standard frame rates, both P and interlaced. And the basic thing you need to be concerned about HDMI is cable length. HDMI cable length for full HD is really limited to about 15 feet unless you use an amplifier or an extender. So it's not ultimately cost effective to use HDMI unless the cameras are nearby. HD SDI, on the other hand, with high quality cable, can go 100, 200 feet. So for creating a situation that you might have HDMI cameras, but you want to utilize that distance, one of the recommendations we make is using an HDMI to SDI converter, also from Blackmagic, which retail under $300. So there's a variety of ways to get this unit to work with both HDMI and SDI. Another little trick is that because it connects via Ethernet, this unit can be placed in the camera room, and actually the video can be connected, or the control can be connected over Ethernet over a long distance. So someone running the CPU power on another location far from the cameras can easily control the switch, and of course with monitoring over headphones and that nature, can basically leave that close to the cameras if the HDMI cable length is a distance is an issue. The biggest misnomer about the ATEM TV Studio is how it handles audio. Audio is not passed through the cameras via HD SDI or ATEM to the inputs of the unit. It must come in separately and be converted to AES EBU format. I think this is the biggest question we have is how it handles audio. The Behringer SRC96 is our converting format. It can convert XLR audio or quarter-inch audio easily to the AES EBU connector, which again is BNC, which we use a BNC to RCA connector. Real simple connection, no fancy cables needed, just a standard RCA cable once you have the AES EBU BNC connector put on the unit. Very simple, easy to use. Audio has been synced up flawlessly. We have tested this thoroughly and not an issue. So one of the negatives compared to maybe the ATEM 1ME or the 2 is that the Behringer unit must be used, and there are others out there as well, but the Behringer unit at $150 is very cost effective. So we talked about Ethernet and using this over distance. One of the other issues is that if you're going to record H.264 to the computer, you will need 2 things. You will need a dedicated hard drive off the boot drive of the computer. In our case, we use a Firewire 800 drive off a Mac Mini or a MacBook Pro. And then USB also has to be run the distance for order to be captured to drive. There are plenty of USB extenders out there. So in theory, to run this further away from your control desk but closer to the cameras, a USB extender and an Ethernet cable of appropriate length will be required.